all. I'd like to welcome y'all to this open discussion just to end the total of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Although we know that domestic violence is an issue that's ongoing, we're just elaborating and just, collaborating in our separate entities, coming together so that we can talk about the pressing issues that we deal with every day, beyond this month. So I want to just start off with asking you all, how long have you been with this agency? And we'll just start there.
All right, good morning. So, my name is Tova Hairston. I serve as the executive director for the Coastal Women's Shelter, and I've been with this fantastic agency since June of 2016, so about 4.5 years.
Hello, my name is Sarah Jackson, and I am the Craven County advocate, and I've been with this agency since the end of July of this year, so about 3 months.
Hi, my name is Lisa Moore. I serve as a domestic violence victim advocate in Jones County. I have been with this agency for 21 years on the 19th of this month since 1999.
Also, my name is Kimberly Drew. I am the Education and Prevention Coordinator here at the Coastal Women's Shelter, and I've been here for about a year and 75% of a year. So about 2 years, almost 2 years. It's awesome experience. So I have some questions to ask y'all, and I appreciate you all kind of chiming in respectfully. So let's go on with the first question is, in your time at the Coastal Women's Shelter, what is the frequency of domestic violence occurrences that are reported to you? And I would want to kind of specifically talk about in a month time frame.
So, as the executive director, I'll kind of have an idea about the prevalence of or the frequency of reported domestic violence cases that come in. I think on average for Craven County, numbers are about maybe 35 to 40 a month, somewhere around there. Jones County, I think the average might be about maybe 10 or 15 clients served in a month, and Pamlico, maybe 5 to 10. So just in terms of a statistic, that's what we see. Of course, that can be a combination between, returning folks, so folks that have used our services in the past and are still working forward, but also new clients where there's been some new incidents or it's their first contact with our agency for services. Does that ring true?
Yes, I was just going to say that, Tova. It just depends upon if they're new or if they're continued, because the numbers are higher if they're continued or returning or if they're new. So more or less, numbers can be higher or lower, depending upon, what you're asking for.
And what I think is interesting is that just because someone is new to our agency for that month doesn't mean that they're new to a DV situation, right? It could be someone that's been in this relationship for months and years. And I just think it's always really interesting to think about what brought that person to our doors, because very rarely is when someone connects with us, is this the first incident of violence? And
That's
so I'm
right.
just always curious to see, what was the straw basically that broke the camel's back or gave them the courage, to step forward and say, hey, I need to do something to change this.
Yes. And normally it takes a lot of courage to actually come to us, to even because they've been given the stereotype that, you're stupid, you're dumb, why are you putting up with this? And people stay in abusive relationships for several reasons. And there is, this society is very judgmental. That's why a lot of women and men don't come and report anything. And a lot of times, the reason they do report it is because they've had enough, or it's life threatening, or either a lot of times the kids, DSS will threaten to take the children if you don't report it, especially if the children have seen the DV, or seen it. And a lot of times they will come in, they're either forced to come in then. Right. And so that's why, that's why a lot of them come. And then, like when you're in a rural area, it's that stereotype as what go on in this house, stay in this house. So that's a lot of the mentality that they have. So
I appreciate that statement. And a lot of it is an ongoing effort for anybody that's experienced domestic violence just to get through the day. And especially in a COVID climate, it's made it a lot harder for individuals to reach out to our agency or any agency within the state.
One of the things, I think, Lisa, you made a very interesting point about just kind of the social framework of what goes on in this house stays in this house, and this is a family issue. But when we talk about I think the average annually that we as taxpayers spend on ER visits from DV victims is like $3 to $5 billion. So it's not just a private in our house situation. This is a public health pandemic. In my opinion, I think we have to take that lens when we look at the impacts of DV for all of us.
That's right. That's true, because it's no longer that stereotype where what goes on in this house. A lot of that was taught. It was a learned behavior. I know coming up, when I was a little girl, it was something, especially in the Black community. It was kind of like people were so nosy. And they felt that, if it was any kind of domestic violence in the home, you were looked down on. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of like we tried to, as a Black community, we always tried to maintain that stereotype where everything was fine. We were living in that, the house with the white picket fence and, and all that. So now it's no longer like that. So people are asking for help. They're being more bold about what people think. So this is a different day and time now where a lot of people are coming out. And I think, too, because of the services that they're finding out the domestic violence services offer, they'll, say, well, they'll help me to pay my electric bill. They'll help me to pay my rent. So a lot of them are coming forward because back in the day, we didn't have services, and this is a wonderful organization. I mean, any domestic violence program is awesome because it let people know I don't have to stay here. I can do better. If I want to do better, I can do better. There are services out there that can help me. And that's what dealing with in the olden days. And now it's like they didn't have the finances, but now the finances and the help is out there. And you do have an advocate to help, which makes it easier. I remember as myself going through domestic violence, I didn't have anything available that I knew about. So I wanted to leave a lot of times, but I was like, well, I'm stuck because I can't go to a shelter. And it was, again, the stereotype where I didn't want to tell my family because judgmental, again, she shouldn't have married him and she shouldn't have did this. And you don't want to hear that, especially when you're beaten down. You want support. You want a loving, you don't want to, you shoulda, you coulda, and all this. So that's why people don't go and ask for help, especially from family a lot of times too, because, we can be very judgmental towards people that we know and that we supposedly love. We beat them down. Whereas when you go to an organization like us, we're going to love on you. We're not going to condemn you. We're going to be here for you every time you come to us. And it takes It said about 79 times before a person to actually leave and stay gone. And sometimes when they leave that relationship, they go into another one. But that's when education come along, and that's when the advocates can always pick up the phone and call us. We're here anytime to help to guide you through the process, because it's not an easy process. It's not at all.